Sexual allegations. You know what? Everybody's got a sexual allegation against them. It's just kind of happening. It's like wildfire everywhere in the country. Wow. I don't think a man is left untouched. It ain't safe to be a man anymore. What are we going to do? I think firstly, we need to educate women, and we need to speak about it as well to men with regard to education. But now let's kind of go a little deeper into it. I've often said I need to run for public office now just so I can remember who I slept with 40 years ago. I mean, this thing is out of control. In Canada, well, every country has their issues, I guess, but in Canada particularly, what's been going on recently is a lot of guys are getting accused. Hey, 20 years ago this happened. It was at 9 o'clock at night. I was having an interview with you at your hotel room. We're drinking whiskey and you made a sexual advance. How dare you, son of a gun? And the prime mistake in Canada is saying this: women who speak up about sexual harassment must be believed. Really? And the leader of the NDP party, that stands for Socialism in Canada, he's saying the same thing. So is the leader of the Conservative Party. If you are accused, boom, you're kicked out and you can't come back. Whatever happened to due process? What? How can this be? I mean, all you have to do is hire a woman and say, go accuse this guy, and boom, he's gone. Wow. I mean, I get it, kind of, sort of, maybe. Maybe some of them are telling the truth, but what about those who are not? I know of men whose lives have been ruined because of allegations that were proven to be wrong later. I mean, that's not nice stuff. I mean, I wish somebody would go and accuse the Prime Minister. That would be kind of nice, man or woman. Get rid of him. That'd be good. I mean, look what happened to Trump a couple of days before the election. 14 women all of a sudden appear and say, hey, we were molested. He's one of the few guys that said, just go away, we'll talk another day. All these other guys, they run for cover. There's people dropping like flies. Can't somebody say, stop it? You know, and if a woman accuses you from 10 years ago, can't you say, did we have fun? Talk, do something. If you're really guilty and you're running off like that, that's good too, I guess. Are these guys that guilty? Maybe. But do the politicians have the right to make statements like, if someone accuses you, you're guilty? I think that's not nice. And particularly coming from the Conservative Party. We do have a conservative woman who is kind of speaking on my side a little bit, and Michelle Rempel, she went on to say this: the fact that we have to legislate this type of behavior takes my voice away. And you know what? It takes everybody's voice away because you're legislating that. I mean, now let's get into kind of prevention stuff. Let me when I see a liberal, I always think, you know, you look like I need a drink, right? I mean, that's what they make me feel like. And I haven't drank for a long time, but I think you got to look at this thing differently. Where's all the men in the world? Where's the husbands? Where's the fathers? I mean, you need to communicate. A woman needs to communicate. I mean, I'll share a story with you. It's very personal, but I'm going to share it with you anyway because it has something to do with this, with what's going on. Many years ago, my wife's kind of attractive. She's older now. We're both older, but here she is. I think she's kind of pretty. And many years ago, a man approached her, and she came home. She was kind of rattled. He was a taxi driver, and she was rattled. And she had taken her Mercedes to the garage, and he knew she was a rich woman and cha-cha at the time, rich and poor many times. That was one of the rich times. And she was rattled. And I said, well, what did you say? And she said, well, I said I was married. And I said, that doesn't cut it. You've seen how we've raised our children. You must ask for something. If you don't ask, you don't get. A lot of women have affairs. A lot of men have affairs. That's just kind of the way it is. You need to say no. If you say no, I don't mind if somebody asks. If you say no, and they ask again, then I should step in and smack them in the head with a board. That's life. And so many years later, a man asked her. She said no. He asked again. She said no, and then he got aggressive. I went and smacked him with a board. Pretty simple stuff. I mean, that's what you do. Again, that's kind of a personal message, but all of these women that are coming forward, don't you have husbands? Don't you go home and say, somebody approached me in the elevator in Parliament, or, you know, in the Senate or something, and then the husband, isn't it his job to go and say, don't do that? Isn't it her job to say no? There's a whole bunch of moving pieces here. I mean, you can't go around and just start accusing all these people. What did you do about it? It's kind of like murder. If you don't pull the trigger, but you see someone else do it, and you don't report it, you're kind of guilty too. I mean, I go on and on, but this thing is getting out of control. It's kind of like a big fire happening. Men are frightened. I mean, and women, there's a lot of bad women out there too, you know. It's not just men. A lot of women will say, he did that to me, and it's not true. And you wreck his life. You got to have due process. I thought we had courts, this social media nonsense, and you got leaders in our country, in America too, but in the major parties in Canada, There's three of them, three leaders. We're all saying the same thing. You're guilty. Somebody needs to go and accuse them. They're not very smart anyway. They wouldn't be missed. Hey, y'all come back here tomorrow. We're going to have another rant for you from the right. See ya.